Hey, y'all. We are back with another makeup tutorial. Yes, I'm giving orangish, fiery-ish look. I just wanted to try something different. So if you are curious to see how I created this look, continue to watch and I promise you won't be disappointed. Yes, I am back with another voiceover makeup tutorial. I just feel like I said, this is just so much easier and convenient to create. I will get back with making videos talking to you one-on-one. But anyways, I am starting off using the e.l.f. lip oil. And then this is in the shade, let me see, Rose Envy. So I am first starting off with the eyebrows. Of course, I always do my eyebrows first. So this is the Benefit pencil. I'm using the shade 4.5. And what I always do is I just line underneath my eyebrow. I just follow the shape of my eyebrow. And I do the same thing with the top. I don't overdraw my eyebrows. I feel like honestly, what I do is I create a tail. Because I don't have a tail in the back. Like as you see at the very top, there's no tail. So I'm really just drawing a line and making hair-like strokes just to create a pretty full eyebrow. That's my shape. I don't do anything extra. And I'm very gentle with the pencil. And then I just do very light strokes. And I constantly comb with the bottom brush of the eyebrow pencil just so that it can blend in well. And that's really all that I do. And you don't have to be perfect because here you are, you're going to conceal the eyebrow. And this is kind of how you create the real shape of the eyebrow that you want. Again, I don't like being extra or creating a different style of eyebrow. So I just follow my natural shape of my eyebrow. I'm using the Kelvin Aquan concealer in XX13. And I use this to basically conceal under my eyebrow. I don't conceal the top part of my eyebrow because it gives it that, that makeup look eyebrow that I don't care for. The only time I do the top part of my eyebrow is if I'm doing the very tail of the eyebrow and I feel like I want a more sharper look. But otherwise, I like to kind of have a natural looking eyebrow. And then you'll see me bring down that concealer. I basically bring it down my eyelid. And that is basically, if I say basically one more time, I'm sorry, y'all. But that's what I use for my primer for my eyeshadow. And then you'll see me blending out with a little small, here we go, a little small fluffy brush. And I am just blending out the concealer. So while you're watching, I hope that you are subscribed to my channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow. Let me know what you guys want to see. Because like I said, I always say I'm going to bring content every time. Okay, so back to the video. I'm using the Airspun setting powder, and I use this to go over the concealer in my eyebrows. I go over this with the concealer because the concealer is wet, and when you bring your eyeshadow to a wet concealer, it just gets very choppy and it doesn't look good, right? So I cover it with a setting powder, and I cover it with my eyebrow also so it doesn't look so oily and shiny. So now I'm using the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, and I kind of show you what color this is. I pointed it to you. It's like a pinkish orangish color. It's really pretty, and this is what I use as my transition shades. So you'll see me basically do the top part of my eyelid with this shade, and I am just pouncing that brush to bring pigment, and then I swipe it just to kind of carry it out throughout the eyelid. So you pounce it up and down on your eyelid for the pigment, and then you kind of bring it back and forth just to spread it out so it blends in good. Okay, so now I'm using a darker shade, and I'm just going to use that to the back of the eyelid. So I'll stay predominantly the back of the eyelid, and then I'll kind of carry it out to the front just a little bit. But this is just to cover the base or the bottom of the eyelid. This kind of gives it some type of definition, some type of depth to the eyeshadow. When you use a transition shade and then you kind of use a darker shade to the end of the eyelid, it just brings dimension. That's what I'm using. It brings dimension to the eyeshadow. And with this look, I really was not trying to do a cut crease. I do not like doing cut creases because it's just too minuscule, but you'll see me here. It is the NYX glitter, the glitter primer, and then you'll see me, I just put it on my back of my hand, and I take that brush, as you saw, and I just apply it to where I want to put a shimmery or a glittery shade. This just allows that shimmery shade to pop out a lot more. You do not need to use this when using a shimmery eyeshadow if you have a good eye palette. This just kind of pronounce it, make it look more noticeable. Okay, so this is the shimmery shade that I took. I'm sorry, it's like an orangish coral looking color. And I'm using the brush, and I'm just going over the areas that I put that NYX primer. Using your finger gives it so much more product. Having a shorter nail for this part helps out a whole lot better. And I just take my finger, put it on the eyeshadow, and then I apply it to my eyelid. This works a whole lot better. I just only use the brush to define the shape of where I want that shimmer to look. But your finger does exactly what you needed to do with the shimmer shades. Okay, so now I'm going back to that darker shade that we used for the corner, and I am just blending that dark shade with the shimmery shade so it blends in good together. I do that with both eyelids, and that just brings the two colors together. Okay, so now I am using a makeup remover wipe, and I'm just getting rid of any pigment that might have fell on underneath my eyes, and I'm just wiping my whole face off so I have an empty or clean base to apply what I want to apply. So I'm going to go through my products really quick. It's the same stuff. This is the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Moisturizer. It is Chef Kiss. It does exactly what it needs to do. Okay, and they just came out with a jumbo size. I'm just waiting for the fragrance free one to be jumbo size, and it's all mine. Okay, now this is the Bobbi Brown eye base, and I just apply it underneath my eyes. It prevents creasing, and it just moisturizes underneath the eyes. And this is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Dewdrops, and this is just a hydrating primer. I'm gonna show you what it looks like once I apply it. I mean, my face looks so hydrated. Look at that. It primes and it hydrates. I love it. I'm going to buy the full size once I'm done with this, okay? But it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Hydrate and prime. And then now I'm using the e.l.f. What is this? I think this is just called the Matte Putty Primer. And I am just applying it to my T-zones, which that is underneath my eyes. Well, not really under my eyes, but kind of like my cheekbone areas, my forehead, my nose, and my chin. Anywhere you get oily or that you may sweat, you want to apply a primer. This is a really good primer. It prevents, that oily look with your makeup, okay? And then this is the e.l.f. Let me see. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This is some sticky stuff. I use this just so that my foundation can stick good to my face. And how I apply it, I squirt it onto my face and I just pat it. I pat it on my skin until I feel it start getting sticky and I know it's good. Okay, and then this is the Morphe Continuous Prep and Set Mist Spray. I apply this after I do all of my face product to basically lock it all in, okay? Okay, so I'm using one of my favorite foundations, and then this is the Estee Lauder foundation in shade Sandalwood at 6W1, and I am just applying that all over my face. I like to use that Morphe brush. This is the Morphe brush in E63 or E63, and I've been addicted to using a brush versus a sponge. And the reason why I am is because I have so much more coverage over my face than a sponge. Because when you use a sponge, you kind of take away a lot of the product. With a brush, you're just basically patting it in on top of your skin. You're not losing any product away. And I don't even go over it with the sponge afterwards. I know some people do, but I don't, because I feel like this brush does exactly what it needs to do. I go over my entire face with this foundation except for under my eyes. I don't want too much product because I'm going to apply a concealer. Here it is right here under my eyes. And when you put too much concealer or product underneath your eyes, it starts to look very cakey underneath. So you just kind of want to leave that area open for the concealer. So I use two different concealers. This is the darker shade, and this is in Tarte. This is in Deep. And then I just apply that to the lower part of my under eyes, underneath my nose, and my chin. And then you'll see me use the Tan Deep, and I do that directly underneath my eyes, on my forehead, the bridge of my nose. And that's just to brighten up those areas. This is the brighter shade here. And I keep that brightness in those same areas. So when I blend it in, I try to keep that brush predominantly in that area and I don't bring it out. All right, this is my favorite cream contour. This is the LYS in shade Strength. This goes on your face like butter. I mean, it's my favorite cream contour, okay? I go over my upper cheekbones, my forehead, and that's it for this one. And then you see me use the Real Technique brush, and I just blend it in. I'm allowing my concealer to sit in place for a while so it can get thicker and it gets more coverage. So while that's sitting, I'm just blending out the contour shade. And like I said, I go over my cheekbones and over my forehead. And I just take my brush and I just pounce it up and down over the area, and I just spread it out. And then when I do my forehead, you want to always make sure you push it into your hairline so you don't have any line of demarcation. You want to just make sure everything is blended in well. So don't be afraid, unless you have like blonde hair, push it, or a lace, push it into your hairline, okay? And then I went back with my foundation brush just so that I can blend in that contour, because I felt like it was a little harsh. And that's what you can do. If you feel like it's too dark or it's not in the right place, blend it out with the same brush or the sponge that you use your foundation, and then it'll blend in well together. Okay, so this is the setting brush from Real Technique, and then I am just blending out my concealer. I always start off at the bottom of the face. So I start off with the chin, underneath the nose. I blend in the edge of, see here I am. I'm just kind of showing you, if you bring the concealer out too far, just take that contour brush and blend it in. You don't add any extra product. You just go over that area just so that you can blend in the product and you don't have that harsh brightness on the side of your face, okay? So anyway, so I'm going in first with the edges of underneath my eyes, and you see I didn't touch the inner corner of my eyes because I want to do that last. I want that to sit. I want that to have the most coverage. And then I go into my forehead, and then I go into my nose. And when you do your forehead, you're going to kind of have that brightness right in the forehead. So you just want to go back and forth. I kind of cut that out my video. You want to go back and forth with your contour brush and with the concealer brush and just blend those two shades in so there's not a harsh line between the two. Okay, so now I'm taking a moist what do you call it, sponge, and I am now blending in underneath my eyes. I like to use a sponge directly under my eyes just to make sure I don't have any excess of product that can be sitting underneath my eyes, which can cause creasing. So I am showing you what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the pressed powder from Maybelline in 330. And so before I even apply that pressed powder, I go in one more time with that sponge to push in any possible creases that could be there. So you push in with the sponge, you leave a crazy looking face so you don't move your face, leave any creases, and then you go directly in with that brush that has a setting powder in. Okay, so you just see me go over underneath my eyes with that setting brush or with the setting powder. Like I said, I'm using Maybelline 330, and I have the Huda Beauty and Banana Bread, and I like to use it, but this Maybelline, it has a hold on me. I just feel like it does really, really, really good underneath my loose setting powder. So like I said, I push in everything with the sponge to get me any creases, and then I go on that pressed powder. I am finally pulling out my Laura Mercier and Honey loose setting powder. That's been just kind of staring at me, okay? So what I do is I tap my triangular puff inside the powder and then apply it to my hand to get rid of any excessive powder that's on that sponge, and then I apply it to my face. I don't like baking underneath my eyes. I don't care for that, okay? So I just want to make sure I get rid of any extra powder that's on that sponge. So like I said, I go into the loose setting powder, pound it on my hand. You see that? You see that? I mean, it ain't one size, translucent. That's my favorite loose setting powder. It's my favorite. But, Laura Mercier is cool. It's cool. Like my husband said, it's cool. But it ain't nothing like the one size. But anyways, and you just want to push it in. Take your time on this part. Push it into your skin because you just want it to blend really well. And you're going to go over every area that you concealed. So underneath your eyes, your chin, underneath your nose. And do not forget to get the crevice behind your nose, the side of your nose. You want to get in everything that you concealed. So under the nose, the forehead, and then like I always say, I am no baker. I don't bake my face. The only areas that I bake is on the bridge of my nose. And that's just to highlight the center of your nose to give a more snatched look. And that's what I'm doing right here. I just go directly from the powder into my face. Okay, so I'm using the Morphe Bronze Show. It's a bronzer, and then this is in the shade Mocha Moment. I am just going over everywhere where I apply that LYS contour shade. And this just kind of brings color back into your face, the bronzer. Remember, bronzer is like a reddish color, so it's like a warm look. So I'm going over the higher cheekbones and over my forehead. And I'm going in with the same stuff, the black opal and bronze boot, and I am just using this to snatch up my nose. I use an angle brush, and I start from the front of the eyebrow, and I bring it all the way down to the tip of the nose. So just take your time. I don't try to spend a lot of time on this. You just want to bring that brush from the front of the eyebrow to the tip of the nose, and just take your time. The narrower you want your nose, the smaller you're going to have that bacon setting powder on your nose. And now I'm just doing a reverse contour on the nose. I'm using the same Laura Mercier setting powder, and I just go on the side of the nose, and I go below the cheekbones. And this just basically snatch up the face. And I am setting my face. I like to spray as I'm doing makeup. And then that is the Morphe setting spray. I'm using one of my favorite foundation powder. And then this is an L425. I love this powder. And I'm just going over the entire face. You can go over the contour. You can go over kind of even I go over my chin area. I bring it down my neck to make sure that foundation is set with the powder so it doesn't get on your clothing. So the only areas I don't go over with this powder is underneath the eyes, because I like to keep that brightened look. So I'm using my setting brush from Real Technique, the same brush that I used before, and I am just pushing in the Laura Mercier loose setting powder. I don't have any extra product on this brush. I'm just pushing in everything, and I'm not even wiping off, but I'm patting or I'm pushing in that loose setting powder on the nose, on the side of my nose, and underneath my eyes. And then you see me use the Charlotte Tilbury in shade number 2. This is just to brighten the face. I kind of go ham a little bit on this one. I take it down to my chin, and I go over my nose. I think I even go underneath my nose. You do not have to use that for that, girl. I just was kind of going in like right here. You don't got to do that. You don't got to do that. But I did, and it still looked good. But I just use it as a brightener, okay? Just keep it underneath your eyes. Keep it very simple. And I feel like I need a little bit more of a shadow. So this is a contour shade. So remember, a bronzer warms the face. A contour gives you more of like a shadow. So I'm just going underneath where I applied that Morphe. And this is the Pat McGrath in Mahogany. And I'm just going underneath that bronzer just to kind of give it more of a depth or more of a shadow look to my face. Okay, so you know I gotta use some blush. This is the One Size Cheap Clapper, and then this is in the shade Firestarter, which is a really pretty orange. I thought it looked really good with my eyeshadow. So when I do blush, I just keep it on my upper cheekbone areas. And I always say, Danielle, don't use too much. Don't use too much. I had to cut off at least half of the video of how much blush I use. But it don't look bad. You know, I like to have a little bit of color to my face. So again, I just go over the top of the cheekbones and I bring it down a little bit. Do you see the color? It looks so pretty. Okay, so this is the One Size Secure. Wait, is it Secure? What is this? This is the One Size On Till Dawn spray. And I finally did it right. I used it before applying mascara, because this stuff always make my eyes water and mess, and I end up clenching my eyes together and mascara gets everywhere and it's just a mess. But this spray does what it needs to do. Okay, so use it before applying mascara. That's one thing I want to tell you when it comes to using that spray. Okay, so now I'm just going underneath the eyes. Y'all see my daughter back there, don't mind her. Okay, so I'm using like a cream. This is Coconut Sephora shade, and it's just the eyeliner, and I just went underneath my eyes. When you use a white or a cream color underneath your eyes, it kind of opens up your eyes versus the black. It kind of gives it more of a closer eye, or it makes your eyes look slimmer. So I decided to use a coconut or cream color shade. And then I go in with that orange shade that we use for the eyelid. And I just bring it down underneath my eyes a little bit, just below that white color Sephora shade that I use. And here is my MAC Hyper Real Glow highlighter. And I'm using this to the tip of my nose, the bridge of my nose, and then you'll see me, there I go. And I just apply it to the upper cheekbones. And I just apply a little bit. It's like a this gives me the Rare Beauty highlighter, but not so much glow. So I like it because it doesn't do too much as far as giving a good highlight. Okay, so I'm using my Trendsetter shade from Morphe. This is the lip liner. I'm using that just to line the lips. I like to overline a little bit just to kind of make my lips look more, you know, blushes. Is that a word? Makes it look more full. There you go, full, right? Okay, so I'm just lining the lips, and then you'll see me apply the Dose of Color Makeup by Shayla lip, nude lip right now, but I end up changing it. My battery died, so you don't see me change it, but I end up changing it to more of like an orangish color to match my eyes. I thought I looked good here, but as I'm looking, as I was getting dressed, it just wasn't doing anything for me. But you see me, I go over the liner again, over that nude shade, just because we kind of lost it with the product. Here's the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and I'm just sealing the deal with that spray. And you just want to kind of push that in with the brush so everything blends in good. But this is basically my final look. No, I'm lying. I do an inner corner pop. You see the inner corner, but my battery died on my camera. But this is the look. Yes, baby, I was given. I hope you watched and I hope you learned. Bye.